that better? This time I'd like to call a special village board meeting to order. Let the record reflect that it is Tuesday, December 17, 2019. Village clock has it at 7:02 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Berg.
Here.
Trustee Brady.
Here.
Trustee Brennan.
Present.
Trustee Galante.
Here.
Trustee Glotz.
Present.
Trustee Mueller.
Here.
President Vandenberg.
Here, thank you. I'd like to add item 1A, and the item would read a motion to remove item number 18 from consideration this evening, and that is due to a lack of approval in our committee of the whole. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item 18 will be removed from the agenda. And then item 1B would be a motion to consider approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Seconded by, is it trustee Brennan?
Trustee
Yep.
Brennan.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We have an agenda. Item number 2, at this time I ask for a motion to consider approval of the minutes of the special village board meeting that was held on December 3rd, 2019.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the minutes. None of my votes are listed in the the agenda items that were roll call.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved by trustee Glotz and seconded by trustee Berg to make an amendment to include, I'm sorry, your votes, was all, everywhere? So the clerk's office, if you can amend the minutes to properly signify or to delegate that. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Been
Second.
properly moved and seconded. Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Thank you. Item number 3, trustee Brennan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to receive presentation and a donation check from Enterprise TE Products.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Tim Kistner, Enterprise Products Pipeline, local operations supervisor. We'd like to donate this check for $1,000 to the village of Tinley Park Fire Department.
Oh, fabulous. Thank you very much. Is there any description you want to give to this? Is there any background on that?
Yeah, Enterprise has a pipeline that runs through Tinley Park. The company selects emergency response teams in the areas impacted by its pipeline for donations each year, and Tinley Park has been selected to receive such contribution in 2019.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief, would you like to at least receive the check, and anything you'd like to say on behalf of the department?
Sure.
Who's publicist?
All right, here's our check for the amount of $1,000. Thank you very much on behalf of the Village of Tinley Park Department.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Actually, it's the intent of the fire department, we'll be utilizing this check to purchase an updated 4-gas operations vehicle to use in our confined space and organization for the response. So this will be a-
Excellent.
Thank you very much. Absolutely.
Donna, can you get his contact information and share your photo?
Get some fit.
I will do the official handoff of the check to.
Easy come, easy go.
I heard a little vacuum right there.
Thanks, guys. Happy holidays. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Item number 4, trustee Glotz.
I would like to make a motion to consider appointing Carrie Schmidt to the position of Public Works Senior Custodian.
Second.
Human Resources conducted a recruitment for a senior custodian and received 17 applicants. 3 candidates were interviewed by a panel of Public Work Management and Human Resources, and the top finalist identified was Carrie Schmidt. Ms. Schmidt is a graduate of Shepherd High School Go Astros. She previously worked for Ideal Custom Designs and State Bank of Illinois. Ms. Schmidt currently owns her own residential and commercial cleaning company in Tinley Park and has been a resident since 2013. Consider appointing Carrie Schmidt to the position of Public Works Senior Custodian. Would you like to say anything?
Hi, I am honored, and I promise to do the best job I can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
This will be a roll call. Clerk?
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
That item is approved. Congratulations, thank you. Item number 5, yeah. Item number 5, at this time I'd ask for a motion to consider approval of the following consent agenda items. Is such a motion?
So moved?
Properly moved by trustee Mueller and seconded by trustee Brady. Madam Clerk, can you call these into the roll, please? Into the record, excuse me.
Item A, consider accepting the Illinois Department of Transportation Report, Documentation Review Number 55, covering the period of May 1st, 2015 through April 30th, 2019, and place it on file. Item B, consider adopting Resolution 2019-R-124, finding that the need for confidentiality still exists as to executive session minutes. Item C, consider adopting Resolution 2019-R-122, approving a resolution adopting permitting standards for work performed in state rights-of-way. Item D, consider adopting Ordinance 2019-0-070, amending Section 32.225 of Chapter 32 of the Tinley Park Municipal Code, Emergency Telephone System Board. Item E, consider requests from Crisis Center for South Suburbia to conduct a raffle through February 29th, 2020 at the Odyssey Country Club, 19110 Ridgeland Avenue, with the maximum value of the prize not to exceed $7,500. Winners will be drawn at the Odyssey Country Club. And lastly, item F, consider payment of outstanding bills in the amount of $3,423,970.03 as listed on the vendor board approval reports dated December 6th and December 13th, 2019.
Thank you, Clerk. Does any board member care to remove any of these items from the agenda? Let the record reflect there's none. Please call the roll.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 6, trustee Mueller.
I move we consider ordinance 2019-0-081, approving text amendments to various code sections of the Code of Ordinances, Subdivision Code, and Zoning Ordinance to implement fee changes and create a comprehensive fee schedule.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
The proposed fee changes will predominantly affect commercial and new development projects. The fee levels were chosen to help protect the general fund from any hard or upfront costs, while also ensuring Tinley Park remains a competitive and attractive community for developers and businesses to operate. The new comprehensive fee schedule will allow all fees to be located in one place and help increase future customer and staff clarity. The comprehensive fee schedule will be located in Code of Ordinances, Tinley Park Municipal Code, Table of Special Ordinances, Table 11. The fee increases are proposed to become effective on March 1st, 2020 to allow time for implementation. They will not apply to projects that have been applied to prior to that date. The Plan Commission held a public hearing on August 15th, 2019 related to the zoning ordinance changes and unanimously recommended approval of the proposed text amendments. The Committee of the Whole reviewed all fee changes on October 1st, 2019 and directed staff to draft the appropriate text amendments. This ordinance is eligible for first reading tonight.
Thank you, trustee Mueller. Does any board member care to comment? Again, this is for first reading this evening. There's none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? First reading. Thank you. Item 7, trustee Mueller.
I move we consider adopting ordinance 2019-0-074, granting text amendments to section 2.b, section 3.u, and section 5.c.4, section 5.c.7, and section 5.c.10 of the zoning ordinance to incorporate masonry requirements for residential, commercial, and industrial uses.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Staff is currently working with the consultant to update the Tinley Park Comprehensive Building Code, which will include transferring masonry requirements from the building code into the zoning ordinance. Staff is proposing that current requirements for brick construction remain intact for residential and commercial districts. However, masonry requirements for industrial districts have been reevaluated in light of current development trends and increased masonry building material costs. The proposed amendments lessen the requirement for brick in industrial districts, especially for larger structures. The proposed amendments will also provide for architectural review as part of the site plan review with established design guidelines, which will allow for more consistent review and establish a standard of quality for the community. These amendments will streamline the review process and result in regulations that support economic development rather than function as an encumbrance to industrial growth. The Plan Commission held a public hearing on November 21st, 2019, and unanimously recommended the proposed text amendments for approval to the village board. This ordinance is eligible for adoption tonight.
Thank you, trustee Mueller. Does any board member care to comment? Does anyone from the public care to comment? We have final adoption. Let the record reflect there is none. Please call the roll.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Item carries. Thank you. Item 8, trustee Mueller.
I move we consider adopting ordinance 2019-0-082, approving an amended economic incentive agreement between the Village of Tinley Park and Banging Gavel Properties LLC.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Pilsen Breweries, Inc., Banging Gavel Brewers, BGB, purchased the Vought building located at 6811 Hickory Street on June 30th, 2017. The village and owner of the property entered into an economic incentive agreement on April 3rd, 2017, per ordinance 2017-0-016. The original incentive agreement assists the developer to redevelop the property in order to feature a brewery and restaurant with an outdoor patio. Since then, the owner of the property has been working with the state historical preservation offices for approval of its project. There's been significant delays from the state as well as additional costs incurred by the owner. The owner presented an amended request to the incentive agreement, which was presented at the November 5th, 2019 Committee of the Whole meeting. The amendment to the incentive agreement will allow the redevelopment of the project to be constructed in 2 phases. Phase 1 will include the brewery, tap room, and outdoor patio. At the completion of Phase 1, the village will pay $150,000 in eligible costs, and 100% of the historical preservation work will be completed. The second phase will include second-floor kitchen and second-floor special event room. At the completion of the second phase of insurance of an occupancy permit, the village will pay the developer $300,000, which is in a total incentive of $450,000 for the project. This ordinance is eligible for adoption tonight.
Thank you, trustee Mueller. Is any board member care to comment?
Mayor, I would like to add some insight. In the agreement, I just want to clarify, we did put some timeframes for this development that was asked, and I know it wasn't specified in the memo, but just for everyone's purposes, they are required per the amended agreement to submit the building permits for Phase 1 on or before January 31st, 2020. And then they would be completed, that would be completed within 12 months after the village has issued all the necessary permits. Then Phase 2 construction shall be completed no more than 6 months. Just so you know, we did put timeframes in the amended incentive agreement.
Thank you for pointing that out. Does anyone from the public care to comment? This item is eligible for adoption. Just mention that, Mr. Rickard, we appreciate your patience and willingness to delay your project to continue to keep the integrity of the historic building intact. I will speak on behalf of the board and say that we're very eager for you to open up your doors, and that
Thank you for your patience.
we appreciate it. If there's no comments, we'll call a roll, please.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 9, trustee Mueller.
I move we consider adopting Resolution 2019-R-125, recommending a Cook County Class 7A reclassification for Rick White of Park Ridge Midwest Realty Group, LLC, the Bandanas Barbecue, at 16200 Harlem Avenue, Cook County, Illinois.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
This resolution provides support for the Cook County Class 7A incentive, which reduces the tax assessment ratio for the property at 16200 Harlem Avenue from 25 to 10% for a 10-year period, 15 in the 11th year, and 20% in the 12th year if the incentive is not renewed. On February 5th, 2019, the Village Board approved Ordinance 2019-0-008, designating the area known as 159th and Harlem as blighted. The subject property is located within the designated blighted area outlined within the ordinance and is therefore eligible to apply for Class 7A incentives. This project meets the goals and objectives established in the Economic Incentive Policy as set forth by the Economic and Commercial Commission and the Village Board of Trustees. This item was discussed earlier today at the Committee of the Whole, and the Economic and Commercial Commission recommended approval of this proposal at its December 9th, 2019 meeting. This resolution is eligible for adoption tonight.
Thank you. Does any member of the board care to comment regarding item number 9? Does anybody from the public care to comment? This is up for adoption. Let the record reflect there's none. Please call the roll.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galate.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 10, Trustee Mueller.
I move we consider adopting Resolution 2019-R-120, approving a master pole attachment agreement between the Village of Tinley Park and Chicago SMSA Limited Partnership, aka Verizon Wireless.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
The master pole attached agreement was drafted based on the recommendations of the Illinois Municipal League, village attorney, and village planning staff. The agreement will permit the location of Verizon small cell wireless equipment on the village municipally owned utility poles in compliance with the Illinois Small Wireless Facilities Deployment Act and the village's design regulations. The village has previously approved a similar agreement with AT&T. This item was discussed earlier today at the Committee of the Whole meeting and is eligible for adoption tonight.
Thank you. Does any member of the board care to comment regarding item 10? Does any member of the public care to comment regarding item 10? Let the record reflect there's none. Please call the roll.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
The motion carries. Thank you. Item 11, there's been an amendment to this. It would be read by Trustee Bill Brady.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Consider adopting ordinance 2019-0085, authorizing the acquisition of real estate property located at 6724 North Street through condemnation or other means.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. This ordinance provides the village manager and the village attorney with explicit authority to acquire the above referenced parcel. To date, negotiations with the property owners have not been successful. An offer has been made or will be made at fair market value. In the event an agreement cannot be reached, the ordinance authorizes the village attorney to file a condemnation suit to acquire the property as acquisition of the property is necessary for public proposal in the furtherance of the New Bremen TIF District redevelopment project and plan. This ordinance is eligible for adoption.
Thank you, Trustee Brady. Is there any comments from the board regarding item 11?
Mr. Mayor, I'd just indicate that we gave you guys an updated legal. I passed those out, so that legal would be attached to the ordinance.
So Exhibit A,
Yeah. And there's one for the next one, too.
got it. So you'll make that part of the record, too,
Just the
clerk?
legal,
The description, the legal description of the property that we're discussing. Is there any other comments from the board? Again, this is up for adoption. Anybody from the public here to address the board regarding this item? Let the record reflect there's none. Please call a roll.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Companion ordinance, item number 12. Trustee Brady?
I'd like to make a motion to consider adopting ordinance 2019-0086, authorizing the acquisition of real estate property located at 6712 North Street through condemnation or other means.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
The ordinance provides the village manager and the village attorney with explicit authority to acquire the above referenced parcel. To date, negotiations with the property owner have not been successful. An offer has been made or will be made at fair market value. In the event an agreement cannot be reached, the ordinance authorizes the village attorney to file a condemnation suit to acquire the property as acquisition of the property is necessary for a public purpose and is for furtherance of the New Brennan TIF District redevelopment project and plan. This ordinance is eligible for adoption.
Thank you, Trustee Brady. Again, as the council has mentioned in the previous item, there will be an Exhibit A attached to this for the record. Are there any other comments from the board regarding item 12? Any comments from the public regarding item 12? Please call the roll, clerk.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 13, trustee Glatz.
I'd like to make a motion, consider adopting resolution 2019-R-126, approving the purchase of a backhoe and a skid steer from Westside Tractor Sales through a cooperative purchasing agreement.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
This is basically, consider approving the purchase of a backhoe and skid steer from Westside Tractor in the amount of $164,671.84. This item was discussed at the Public Works Committee held on December 10, 2019. The resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you. I assume this is budgeted for in this fiscal year? Any other comments from the board? Any comments from the public regarding this item? This is up for adoption, expenditure of funds. Please call the roll.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 14, trustee Glatz.
I'd like to make a motion to consider adopting resolution 2019-R-127, approving a contract between the Village of Tinley Park and Sewer Assessment Service LLC for smoke testing sanitary sewers.
Second.
Thank you.
Upon completion of the RFP process for smoke testing, various sanitary sewers in the sections of the town considered to be high risk for inflow and infiltration. The following 4 proposals were received on June 15, 2018. Clerk, if you could add those in. The services performed are part of the village's ongoing sanitary sewer evaluations as required under the MWRD Infiltration and Inflow Control Program. This contract has provisions for continuation for services for 2 additional years with a 3% increase. Consider awarding a contract to Sewer Assessment Service in the amount of $71,980. This item was discussed at the Committee of the Whole held on December 3rd, 2019. Resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you. Does any board member care to comment? Clerk, if you could include all of the bids, please.
Yes.
In the record, thank you. Again, this is for an expenditure of funds and for final reading. Anybody from the public care to comment? If the record reflects there's none, please call the roll.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion will carry. Thank you. Item 15.
I'd like to make a motion to consider adopting resolution 2019-R-128, approving a change order under the contract between the Village of Tinley Park and the Visu Sewer for Post 7 force main improvements.
Second.
Thanks, Bill. The village awarded a contract to Visu Sewer in July 2019 for the rehabilitation, cure, and place lining of Post 7 force main from Post 7 to approximately 167th and 66th Avenue. As work has progressed, field investigations have determined that the route of the force main had been previously relocated from its original design to accommodate later subdivision development. The existing route would require additional work not included in the contract and would adversely affect improvements on private properties. It has been determined that abandoning a segment of the existing sewer main and relocating the pipe will not only be more economical, but provide more efficient operations after the rehabilitation work is completed. Consider awarding the change order to the original contract with Visu Sewer in the amount of $140,251.65. This item was discussed at the Public Works meeting held on December 10, 2019. Resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you. Does any board member care to comment? Anyone from the public care to comment? Expenditure of funds and for final reading. Let the record reflect there's none. Please call the roll.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion will carry. Thank you. Item 16, trustee Brady.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to consider adopting Resolution 2019-R-130, authorizing a professional service agreement between the Village of Tinley Park and Municipal GIS Partners, Inc.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
The attached document was updated executive board agreement and a statement of work with the GIS Consortium Service Provider, Municipal GIS Partners, MGP. The current statement of work would expire on April 30th, 2020, to coincide with the village's fiscal year. The village has the right to terminate the agreement upon 30 days written notice to the service provider. Funds for this expenditure were budgeted for a not to exceed the amount of $208,992. and is included in the fiscal year budget. Pursuant to Section 5.2 of the GIS contract, the SOW shall extend the initial term for an additional one-year period. The renewal term shall commence on May 1st, 2020, and remain in effect until April 30th, 2021. In addition, monthly usage reports are provided to the village to confirm utilization of the GIS data by staff and the public. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you, trustee Brady. Does anybody from the board care to comment regarding item 16? And anyone from the public care to comment? This is final adoption. Please call the roll.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz. Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 17, trustee Brady.
I'd like to make a motion to consider adopting ordinance 2019-084, establishing a moratorium on cannabis business establishments.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. On June 25th, 2019, Governor Pritzker signed the Cannabis Regulation and Tax Act, CRTA, which legalizes the sale, possession, and usage of cannabis for recreational purposes in limited quantities by persons 21 years of age and older, beginning January 1, 2020. The CRTA allows municipalities to decide if they wish to allow adult-use cannabis businesses within their boundaries and enact reasonable zoning regulations for these businesses. The President and Board of Trustees have held multiple public meetings and conducted an online survey to discuss this matter and solicit resident input. However, the President and the Board of Trustees believe at this time that more information and resident input is needed prior to allowing the operation of adult-use cannabis businesses in the village. Village staff will monitor the impact of these communities and another survey to be mailed to each resident of the village will be conducted to help increase the level of confidence in making the right decision for the community. This ordinance will place a moratorium on the issuance of any business licenses to a recreational cannabis retailer or grower until November 1st, 2020, or until the board passes other regulations pertaining to recreational cannabis business. This ordinance is eligible for adoption.
Thank you, trustee Brady. Does any board member care to comment regarding this item?
Yeah, I have something to add, Jake. So, after our last, our last meeting on the 3rd, I met with Pat Carr and Donna Framke. We came up with some good ideas, and then for some language, we got some help from Lisa, thank you. And then, so basically what it's gonna do is a card's gonna go out to all the correct me if I'm wrong, Donna. All the cards are gonna go out to all the households. There's gonna be a link on there for the Survey Monkey. There's gonna be 3 questions or something like that. And if, it's also gonna say on there, if they don't have a computer, if they don't have internet, whatever it may be, they can come into Village Hall and they can fill it out, put their, and register it that way. They can come in here, they're not gonna be stopped from doing it. And instead of like the other way you guys were talking, like I said, you'll hit over 20,000 people, and people that are on email only and they don't get the paper copy, they will get a blast email from Donna's team. And then February 4th, it'll be brought to the board with the results, correct?
Correct.
So if I missed anything, please.
Thanks for the overview. I would just mention that I fielded multiple letters. I'm sure the rest of the board has as well. And for the purpose of keeping an open line of communication, Dominic and myself will make copies of that, and we'll place them in your mailbox or email them to you if for some reason those are not addressed to you and just me. So as those come in, we'll make sure that we get those out to you.
I just feel like we did that citizen survey too early, and we could have done this question. We had 2 questions to choose on there as well. So it was a little oversight on our part that we probably could have included that. That was in August, I think, so it was a little bit ahead of the time, but we probably should have been more thoughtful in the other, prior to this, so now we have to start over with the survey.
I've certainly made my position very clear on this particular subject at the last meeting and meetings before, but I do see a lot of value in the additional input from the community, so looking forward to seeing the results, making some decisions based on that.
Thanks, Mike. I just don't see how we can make a decision without doing it, so. Thanks to the
Absolutely.
board for letting this come forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's necessary. I know a lot of residents felt like they didn't get to properly voice their opinion, so I think this is a necessary option for us, so.
Anybody else on the board before I turn it over to the public? Ma'am?
Thank you for adding this to the agenda. There's a lot of confusion out there about opting in, opting out, a moratorium, what happens, and is it going to slip past people when they don't know what's going on? I'm asking you to vote for the moratorium for a lot of reasons, one of which is in my asking residents who nobody knew what was going on of the people that I was engaging in conversation, I happened to bump into a teacher. And she said, we're in favor of our young people smoking marijuana because it's so much better than methamphetamine. And, I don't know her. I couldn't correct her. I'm like, that's up to her family and friends to discuss with her, as it is for all of our families and friends to discuss with us our opinions of something of this magnitude. My concern is that her comment wasn't, we want our young people to eat fruits and vegetables. I think that's a serious thing that needs to be brought out as to the misspeaking about marijuana. It's not CBD oil, which is safe for you. It's not medicinal marijuana. It's recreational for recreational purposes. I would hope that should there ever be a venue where it's legal, keeping people out of jail for small use, okay? Those tax dollars aren't putting people in jail, but I hope that there's signage that says use responsibly. It's not about the money, just like Christmas isn't about the money. Thanks for getting it on the agenda. Please vote in favor of it.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a comment on the use of cannabis in the village of Tinley Park. I think the only reasonable thing that we should do would be to opt out of this. The surrounding communities around us, Frankfurt, Mokina, and Orland Park have already opted out of this. Haven't we learned anything from the use of opioids now that we're getting lawsuits on that? From vaping, there's been death already. And by going to this, if we opt to have it in here, I understand the licenses are limited for this, but what's to prevent head shops from opening up here? Just selling the stuff that goes with it. This right now is I'd call the Grim Reaper of death that come into the village of Tinley Park. We're supposed to have a family-oriented community. But if you keep on putting this, you opt into this, you won't have a family-oriented community. You'll have people moving out who love families and want to have families. I don't think any one of you up there would like to see your kids come in and smoke marijuana in your house, especially the fact that the THC that they're putting into it now is going to be 10 times stronger than what you've seen before. I don't know if any of you remember Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco, but I lived out there, California. I remember Haight Street. These kids walking around, they were blown out of their minds. They had no idea what they were going and what they were doing. And there was a lot of them that died out there because of it. So I urge you to opt out of this now before it becomes a problem later on, 30 years down the line.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Some of the things I have to say are probably a repetition of what they said, but I did find a couple of things on the internet. So I think I'll go there first and let you see what I have found. So,
Ma'am, can you pull the microphone down a little bit
sure,
so we
I'm
can hear you?
sorry.
Thank
Sure,
you.
okay, can you hear me now?
That's much better. Much
Okay,
better.
so my questions were this: how will the selling of marijuana in this community appeal to new businesses to come into this community? How will this keep current businesses in Tinley Park? How will marijuana sales help provide a solid workforce? Now, I know we're talking about two types of marijuana, medical marijuana. I'm in the medical field. I work with doctors every day who have given their opinion on this. They are not legally allowed to write prescriptions for marijuana. They have patients who would may benefit from a use of marijuana, but you know what they're prescribing now? CD oil, yoga, and creams and lotions. They're not prescribing marijuana because they're legally not allowed to. Why? because marijuana is a Schedule I drug by the federal government. It has not been changed by the federal government. It's still illegal federally. What the governor has done in the state of Illinois is horrible for the state, and I think if Tinley Park went on that bandwagon, it would be terrible for Tinley Park. And I know there are people who feel they need this, but there are alternatives to this marijuana use. So going back now on this, okay, a big question here. We've raised our families in Tinley Park. We're now seniors, and we have grandchildren living in Tinley Park. How will selling marijuana appeal to the youth of Tinley Park to, one, come back to the village of Tinley Park, or to remain in the village of Tinley Park, raising their children in the school districts here? How will selling marijuana keep property owners to stay in Tinley Park? How will the values of the property here be affected? Seniors are another important group who make up Tinley Park. Will they stay, or will they seek out some quieter place? I don't know. What will the village of Tinley Park, what will the liability be to the village if there's some kind of an accident, which there probably is going to be if something like this were to go through? And I know, believe me, I know my neighbor's been selling pot for years, so I know it, okay? I mean, what do I do about it? Well, I don't do anything about it, because I figure they'll just screw themselves eventually, right? Okay, so is the 3% absolutely necessary? The liability of the village, I imagine, would be much greater than 3%. There are many, many empty storefronts all over. How will this affect these empty spaces to appeal to new businesses to come in? I want to give this example. Colorado, California. You were talking about this in California. If anybody has looked into this, and I've heard some reports, I've talked to people who've been to California and who've been to Denver, and actually family who lived in Denver and left Denver after they've grown up there and lived in Colorado their whole life because they're afraid. They're completely deaf, they have no hearing, and they've taken an option to get out of Colorado after spending 38 years there. They are literally afraid. Okay, so I've had an eye view of Colorado and California. What's going on in LA is they have put up restrictive fences and outhouses because the pot smokers, or the habitual pot smokers, or the addicts, are just hanging out in the city, intimidating and scaring tourists. So the community of LA put fences up with outhouses so that these people, who I believe are mostly men, unshaven, using the bathroom wherever they feel on the street, in this area confined by a fence, so that that's their home. That's where they stay, in the parks. All the parks are occupied by these potheads. So the parks are not as beautiful as they were, and people are intimidated by it. So that also scares me about that. Not that they're going to be living in our parks, but I don't know. I have not been aware of any surveys except the one survey online with the 3 questions where my husband and I completed. We did not need to give our identity. We did say we were residents of Tinley Park, but anybody could have answered that survey. So how is that credible? I don't know. Okay, so for instance, here, the state of Illinois, we're rated absolutely #1. What are we rated #1 for? The highest taxation state in the country. That's Illinois. Shame on the governor for doing this to our youth. I've learned one thing as a parent in Tinley Park. You have to protect your children from themselves to adulthood, and giving them or even exposing them unnecessarily to people who think it's okay. Fine, do it in your home. Don't include my home. Don't include my family. Don't include my grandchildren. Do it like you've done it up till now. That's your problem, not mine. Okay, so federal law in this Center for, I can't remember what it's called. I'm saying CDC. Consider marijuana a Schedule I drug. We are going from a vaping crisis and to a THC crisis. So you can vape marijuana. So now the kids will figure this out, and they're going to be vaping the marijuana. Let me
Ma'am.
say something about
Ma'am,
the...
if you could finish up your comments,
will.
we've allowed you to go
I'm
over the
sorry.
extended time.
About the vaping marijuana. Many methods are utilized to convert or manufacture marijuana into marijuana concentrate. One method is a butane extraction process. This process is particularly dangerous because it uses highly flammable butane to extract the THC from the cannabis plant. Given the extreme volatility nature of butane, this process has resulted in violent explosion. The labs are reported nationwide, particularly in the western states and the states where local and state marijuana laws are more relaxed. This is the last thing I want to say. I want to read this. Many users of marijuana concentrates prefer the e-cigarettes, vapors, because it's smokeless, odorless, and easy to hide and conceal. The users take a small amount of marijuana concentrate, referred to as a dab, then heat the substance using the e-cigarette vaporizer, producing vapors that ensure an instant high effect upon the user. Using an e-cigarette vaporizer to ingest marijuana concentrate is commonly referred to as dabbing. Being a highly concentrated form of marijuana, the effects upon the user may be more psychologically and physically intense than plant marijuana use.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
I think we all understand your point of view on this, and we appreciate, and most importantly, we appreciate you coming and voicing it, but.
And I completely appreciate your efforts, and I know you're looking at this, and I'm very, very happy that you are looking at this, because I do think that it would be a detriment to many people and to our community.
Thank you very
And I
much.
appreciate all that you're doing, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Centeni.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This topic is of big concern to me. First of all, I've lived in Tinley Park almost 50 years, and it's always been that family-friendly, family-value town. And matter of fact, we know that Tinley Park was voted the best place in America to raise kids. I'm just wondering why in the world we are even considering something like this for our kids. Why are we considering an environment that's going to allow mind-altering drugs in our village? Why would we even be considering doing something like this? It blows my mind that the governor would even consider approving something like this. Marijuana contains a mind-altering drug. And I don't know if you feel that's something that's important to have in our community and to have in our environment and have in our society. I'm a former educator. I dealt with young people dealing with marijuana a number of times. It's not a pretty sight. So I don't know why people are pushing this to be acceptable to our society. It is not something that's got a positive outlook to it. It's all very negative. So I'm hoping Tinley Park doesn't consider doing this. I was on a trip a little while ago with some people from Colorado, and they tell me it is really horrendous out there because they smell it all over the place. And I don't want to walk around Tinley Park smelling something I don't want to smell. I don't want to inhale secondhand marijuana smoke. That's not something to be around here. If we allow that to go on in our town, you're going to make it more accessible to young people. Okay? I dealt with teenagers all my life. They will find a way to get it, and if you make it more accessible to them, they will find even easier ways to get it. Is that what you want your kids or grandchildren to have access to in Tinley Park? I'm even wondering if the police department, I'm sure they haven't made any special statement on this, but it has been shown to be highly difficult now to determine who, if there's a traffic accident, if somebody's under the influence? How does the police department determine something like that? I don't want to get run into by somebody who bought their stuff in Tinley Park to be influenced by something they inhaled, and nobody can prove that they did anything wrong. That's the last thing I want myself to be involved with, and I would wonder if you want your relatives or your children or your family to be involved with an accident caused by somebody under the influence, and the police has no way of determining if that's the cause or not. Think about this very carefully. Do we want to trade in the title of the best place in America to raise kids with the best place in the south suburbs to buy pot? Is that something we're willing to trade in? Because I guarantee you, if that is passed in Tinley Park, we will no longer ever be considered for the best place in America to raise kids. At least I don't think so. So think about this, and I hate to see this, even a moratorium means you're thinking about it. To me, this is something is a no-brainer. How many other towns around here have automatically said no? They didn't even do any referendum. They didn't do a survey. No, we don't want it. Are we that oblivious to the effects of marijuana to say, well, we'll think about it? I hope it's not for the money. I got the impression that you all passed a tax abatement a little while ago, which means it looks like Tinley Park is running in the black, and we don't need extra money for the taxes that this will take in. So hopefully we don't need it. We don't doing it for the money. So I would question each one of you to think about, why are you thinking about it? Why are you considering it? That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. I appreciate it. There's no other comments regarding item 17. There's a roll call for a moratorium. Roll call, please.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz. Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Item 17 carries. Thank you. Item 18 was removed from the agenda, so we'll skip down to item number 19. At this time, I'd ask for a motion to consider adopting ordinance number 2019-0-083, amending Title 11, Chapter 112, Section 112.22 of the Tinley Park Municipal Code, edition of 1, Class UV liquor video license for Lenny's Food, Lenny's Food and Fuel, Harlem Avenue, LLC at 19420 Harlem Avenue.
So moved.
Properly moved by Trustee Mueller. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Brennan. Thank you. The proposed ordinance would increase the Class UV liquor video license by 1. The applicant currently operates a full-service truck stop at 19420 Harlem Avenue. Upon approval of this ordinance, the total number of Class UV liquor video licenses would be 1. This ordinance is eligible for adoption. Is there any comments or questions from the board? Any comments or questions from the public? Let the record reflect there is none, and please call a roll.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
No.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 20. This time, I'd ask for a motion to consider adopting resolution 2019-R-123, providing for the authorization for landing rights to Santa Claus in the village of Tinley Park, Cook, and Will Counties, Illinois.
Second.
It's been properly moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and second. Thank you.
Moved and second, excuse me.
The fun part of the job. This resolution is providing for and authorizing landing rights to Santa Claus in the village of Tinley Park, Cook, and Will Counties, Illinois. Whereas the United States Federal Aviation Authority, more commonly referred to as the FAA, is responsible for all flights and landing operations in the continental United States, and therefore requires precise coordination for any and all domestic flying. And whereas in the past 63 years, thousands of man-made objects have been thrown into the atmosphere and around this planet, thereby further complicating the safe movement of any flying machines and/or sleighs. And whereas the Illinois State Department of Aviation directs that local authorities establish the necessary approval for any flights to land within the state and except at registered airports. And whereas the sheriffs of Cook and Will counties further delegate that the authority, when properly approved, to the municipalities of those counties. And whereas any miniature sleigh with 8 tiny reindeer shall designate the first reindeer to respond to landing signals with his blinking red nose. And whereas said sleigh shall be full of toys and will not exceed their air travel weight load limit. And whereas the driver shall be a jolly old elf of outstanding character and shall have in his possession a good flying record. Now therefore be it resolved that the Village Board of Tinley Park, representing the great citizens of the community, provides Santa Claus with all approvals necessary in whatever order required to land at the homes as often as he deems appropriate on Tuesday evening, December 24th, 2019, and Wednesday morning, December 25th, 2019. Be it further resolved that the Police Department, the Public Works Department, and other municipality agencies shall provide speedy and helpful assistance to guarantee St. Nick's movement throughout the world. This is passed the 17th day of December, 2019, signed by myself, Village Clerk Kristen Therian, and the fine village trustees of Tinley Park.
Here, here.
It's been properly moved and seconded. We should, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Santa Claus, you can land. Thank you. Item number 21, receive comments from the staff. Does any staff member care to comment this evening before we move along? No? Item number 22, receive comments from the board.
I have something to say, Jake. I'd like to just thank the Public Works and Donna's team and marketing and staff for the well-organized tree lighting. Clerk Therian, all the trustees were able to attend. It was great to see a family that Diane nominated and Bill Brady got to introduce for the Bailey family to light the tree. It was very nice. And then the parade of lights by the chamber and the Tinley Park marketing. That was a great event. So thank you to all the trustees that were able to attend. And lastly, just wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you.
Any other board members, Kurt? Any comments this evening?
I'll just echo his comments. It was a great job by all staff, Donna's team, Public Works. It was great. My family spent the weekend up there. It was really nice. So,
Holiday market was very well done
yeah,
as
it was
well.
fantastic.
Thank you for the hat, Donna.
So I'll end it with saying a couple of things to the Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you for handling the festivities in my absence. On that note, myself, delegation of Tinley Park residents and staff traveled over to Büdingen, Germany, our sister cities, part of our sister city organization. We had a great trip, proper networking opportunity amongst our communities. And I would just, my first reflections on the trip, if I can, will just be that the people of Büdingen were extremely generous, very hospitable, just very inviting and welcoming, and they absolutely thoroughly enjoy our friendship with them. And I will say that I feel the same way. Their company was great. I look forward to our continued commitment to our friendship, to the organization, to their community, and all the networking that we have. And I would invite everyone to take a look in the display out in the lobby. On the left-hand side, they presented us with a beautiful pottery set that was specifically made. There's only one of its kind, and it's specific to the area of Büdingen. The colors are, and it just it signifies our relationship and our friendship. Tinley Park did bring them a gift as well. We brought a one-of-a-kind piece of artwork that was designed and by a local artist here in Tinley that signifies our 30th year of anniversary of our jubilee, our celebration of our partnership. So they were very happy with that presentation, and one final bit on that was that it was an extremely special trip. because I was able to travel with former Mayor Ed Zabrocki and his wife Emily. Between Ed and Pat Ray, they simply created this friendship, and this community is better off because of it. I firmly say that, and I thank them for their vision, for their leadership, for their continued support for Tinley Park as well as the Sister Cities organization, and it was just a great trip. And I'm sure that over the next week or two, there's going to be some other publications that are put out, some statements from Mayor Ed, myself, and some media, some photos that will be shared. And I would encourage the board and any resident to look into the great things that the Sister Cities organization is doing, specifically our friends in Boudingan. So that's my first point. I'll get off my soapbox there. I will echo the exact same sentiments as the rest of the board. Merry Christmas to our staff, to our residents, happy holidays, to a safe, prosperous new year. And I look forward to continuing to work with each person on this dais to continue to fulfill for the benefit of our citizens. So there's my public service announcement.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I forgot a thank you, actually. I wanted to thank Public Works. We worked with them with the Boy Scout Troop 911 and also the Sea Scout Ship 2911 that decorated and designed the village float that all the characters were on. And we were out there on a Saturday morning and worked for about 4 hours putting the lights on and decorating it all and so on and so forth. And I want to thank Public Works for their help with getting that done. And I know that Pat Carr was there in spirit. Kept advised of what we were doing. So I want to thank you for your help too, Pat.
All right.
Father Pat's always with you.
I had one more for you, Mr. Mayor.
Sure, go ahead.
I just want to thank the clerk's office, especially Laura, for accommodating my business trip. The December 3rd meeting. It was really nice to be able to attend. Hopefully you guys were able to hear me loud and clear during that, but appreciate all your help during that process. Thank you.
I just want to say real quick too, just about the Tinley Wish, the whole, people participated in that. If you didn't, you should get involved in it. It's an unbelievable day, being out there and helping our, those in our community that are having a rough time right now. Or in meeting and working with people that collected, maybe were part of it in the past and now they're giving back. It was phenomenal. It's so nice to see our, all of our first responders working together, community, staff. I mean, everybody was, it was just really a neat experience.
Very good. Thank you. Item number 23, receive comments from the public. If there's no comments, we will move on to item number 24. There is an addition to your agenda packet. I was given this by the clerk's office prior to the meeting. So there'll be a letter D that I'll go over. So at this time, I'd ask for a motion to consider adjournment into executive session to discuss the following items. A, the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body, including minutes or meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired. B, the setting of a price for sale or lease of real property owned by the public body. C, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee of the public body or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity. And then D, the collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees, excuse me, or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We'll be adjourned. Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.